Good morning. My name is Sam Sutton. I'm a reporter here at the Fredericksburg Standard Radio Post. Today I am joined by John Washburne. He is the owner of Otto's. He also owns Tubby's, Bergerie, and Caliche, and a few other places in town. So, Mr. Washburne, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Sam.
And so this year, how has it been in 2021? Have things kind of bounced back a little bit since COVID?
Definitely. Yeah, it's pretty much since things reopened in June, July of 2020. It's just been as busy as we've experienced. Typically, July, August, September, pretty slow months for us. And then 2020, we were about 20% over from 2019. And then this year's pretty much followed suit. So, we haven't really experienced very many highs and lows other than the winter storm in February and just kind of hitting record numbers. So it's been quite a surprise to us.
Yeah, I've seen the weekend crowds are back in full swing, so I imagine that helps you guys a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, the weekends. The weekends are always pretty good for us. I think it's the midweek that we've seen the biggest change. So,
oh yeah.
When you can't get a parking spot on Main Street on a Tuesday, that's kind of odd.
Yeah, it is odd. It's good though. It means people are
oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but it can be frustrating sometimes.
for locals, definitely.
Yeah. How have your businesses been this year as far as financially this year compared to years past? I know 2020 was a pretty low year. But...
Yeah, the PPP loans, really helped us out, and a couple of our businesses qualified for a second round. Some of them didn't because the sales were as good or not bad enough to qualify because you have to be 20% down quarter on quarter, 2020 to 2019. But that really helped us out, and then we've just had very steady sales, and it seems like everybody's kind of flocking to Texas, either moving here or visiting. So I think we've just received the net benefit of that.
I spoke with a real estate agent, Mike Starks, a few weeks ago, and he said, people moving to like local areas, like smaller areas in droves, because trying to get out of the city, trying to come to a more open area, and I think Fredericksburg's kind of benefited from that.
Oh yeah, well, it's like California is moving to Texas, but then it's like they're going to the big cities, and then folks in the big cities are kind of like, maybe I should get out of the big city, and then they're moving here. So it's just it's insane.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to qualify it.
Yes, it's been not like nothing I've ever seen. So but I can relate. I mean, I moved here from a more bigger town in San Angelo down here because I liked the smaller feel, and that was a little before the pandemic. So I understand the feeling of wanting to go small. So there's been a lot of talk of labor shortages lately. Have you guys experienced that at all?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think just like everybody, but it's various types of labor shortages. So I mean, there's a difference between trying to find a dishwasher and trying to find a general manager or an executive chef. So I mean, across the board, it's been difficult. But you can kind of break it down to its component parts and look at each category of the job type. So right now, I think finding dishwashers, line cooks is our greatest challenge. Being able to find somebody for a management level position hasn't been as difficult.
And what do you think kind of fuels this shortage? And how are you guys kind of working to help that problem within y'all's businesses?
It's basically housing.
Yeah.
I think that's what what we're all seeing, and I feel like I wish there was a solution. I think it may come down to just employers getting together and either subsidizing a housing project or I know that there's been people floating an idea of maybe getting some of the housing that's used for oil fields out west, dropping it down here, at least as a temporary solution. But people that have pretty good mid-level salaries aren't able to afford something here, and that's a huge. Again, you just have to break it down to its component parts. And so, you know, if you're making $15 an hour, you know, that's its own kind of set of difficulties finding housing. And then even if you have a salaried full-time position, you know, you're also having issues. You may not want to live in a one-bedroom, one-bath apartment for $1,500 a month. You know, even if you're making enough money for that. It's just, again, each category has its own challenges.
Yeah, I know several people who've moved here recently who were, you know, managers in positions, and they can't even find anything. You know, that they'll move from one place and they have a certain quality of house there. They come here and they try to find that same quality of house, and just can't find it. Yeah,
and even looking at Kerrville, you know, so Kerrville kind of functions as an auxiliary housing, you know, housing opportunities for staff here, and you know, even the rental market there is kind of getting filled up. People that are looking to buy houses in Kerrville can't afford it, so that's very telling as well.
Mm-hmm. And then moving on from housing and the problems and shortages, I do hear you have a new restaurant coming in soon. Is it near Caliche?
It's right next door on the corner of Milam and Main.
Okay.
Yeah, so the name is Alla Campagna, and it's going to be an Italian restaurant. I wouldn't say it's opening soon, just because you never know.
Right.
But yeah, we just started breaking ground about a month ago, and we'll be experiencing some hiring issues, I'm sure, when we do try to get it open. But fortunately, we have built a pretty strong team, you know, with the multiple locations that we have that we can hopefully pull from some of those resources. And but it's very daunting trying to open another restaurant in this environment.
And so is it going to be Italian food, or what's kind of going to be?
Yeah, so we're kind of using Italian in the broad sense, but trying to place it in Central Texas. So there's great Italian dishes that incorporate, you know, seafood, for example. But you know, I think we want to try to go as local as possible. So if whatever's available from the Gulf we can use, but we wouldn't be flying in tuna.
Right.
You know, so try to give it a sense of place and look at different dishes, you know, regional Italian cooking and how they can map onto what's being grown in Central Texas and what's, you know, what sort of produce or meat is available.
Nice.
Yeah.
So just kind of supporting local wherever you can.
Yeah, just give it a sense of place and context.
Yeah. Cool. And then as far as the restaurant and hospitality industry goes, what do you expect it to kind of look like going forward in the future?
I enjoy making predictions.
Yeah.
Just because it's fun.
Yeah.
But it's kind of, I mean, it's impossible. I mean, clearly we're on a trajectory. So, you know, maybe things level out, but I don't see, you know, all the things that we're discussing, you know, the people moving to Texas from California, they're not going to move back in 2 years. I wouldn't imagine. The people that are moving to Fredericksburg, you know, I don't think they'll move back to Dallas or Houston in 2 years once things get normal. And so then looking at tourism, you know, I think it'll probably go back to maybe what it was like in 2019 or 2018. I don't see it falling off, but maybe it maintains its current level. It depends on how other states and countries are open to visitors. You know, traveling to Europe right now, I don't know each country's situation, but, you know, like going to Britain, you have to quarantine for 14 days at an airport hotel. So I don't see a lot of people visiting London.
Right.
So, you know, as long as that stays in place, I think we'll just continue the trajectory that we're on.
Yeah. But it's interesting that you said, you know, people aren't going to be just like once everything is back to, you know, once COVID's kind of ended, people aren't just going to be moving back to their old homes. I mean, this is their forever home, so it definitely is going to look a lot different coming up in the next few years.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Is there anything else that you'd like to add before I let you go?
No, just thank you for your time, and you know, keep doing the good work.
Thank you. And you as well.
We will try.
Again, I was joined by Mr. John Washburne, owner of Otto's, Tubby's, Bergerie, Caliche, and his new restaurant. And what was the name again?
Alla Campagna.
Alla Campagna. Thank you so much.
Thank you.